Okay, I want to preface by saying I made this in anticipation of the Brazil-Morocco match, and this weekend got a little chaotic, so I wasn't able to post it in time. But I still wanted to get it out there just so I could show my analysis and share my thoughts. I will say Morocco was so impressive, and Brazil was a little bit disappointing. But I think a lot of this stuff that I say in here still kind of holds weight. So we'll see what happens with the remainder of the tournament. But this doesn't account for this past weekend. So cheers. Okay, Brazil is going to win the 2026 World Cup, and look, even I, a clueless American, know Brazil is supposed to be good at this. 5 stars on the jersey, 5 titles, more than anybody. The canary yellow is the most recognizable shirt in sports, and they basically invented the idea that football is supposed to be fun to watch. But shockingly, the most successful team in the history of the sport is showing up to this tournament as an underdog, only the 4th favorite. This is not the Brazil of old. Let me explain how that happened and why being underestimated might be the most dangerous thing that's happened to them in 20 years. The drought. There's a phrase in Brazil, joga bonito, play beautifully. It's not a slogan, it's a national expectation. You don't just win in Brazil, you're supposed to win with style. Here's the problem. They haven't won anything since 2002. That's a 24-year drought. For a country with 5 World Cups, that's not a slump, that's a national emergency. The Brasileiros are itching for Brazil to get back to the top. And it's not like they've been losing in finals, they've been getting humiliated. A 7-1 loss at their own World Cup in 2014 that Brazilians still can't say out loud, knocked out in the quarterfinals in 2018 and 2022, both times looking nervous, rigid, very un-Brazilian. So this isn't some swaggering superpower that showed up to every tournament to collect another trophy. This is a proud giant that's been embarrassed, has heard all the jokes, and is quietly furious about it. But this time they're a different animal. To fix it, Brazil did something genuinely radical. They hired a foreigner. Now technically he's only the 4th non-Brazilian to ever take the job, but the last one was over half a century ago, back in 1965. But this manager is different. It's Carlo Ancelotti, an Italian who has won league titles in all 5 major European leagues and a record number of Champions Leagues, the most decorated club manager alive. And the irony of this hire is that Brazil's whole identity is that they think they've lost their soul. Too many players play a rigid style of football, too much structure and not enough flair. So who did they hire to bring the joy back? A 66-year-old Italian. The cigar and eyebrow raising guy. But if you know anything about how Ancelotti manages his teams, the hire actually makes a lot of sense, and I'll explain why. Ancelotti is doing something genuinely clever. Like many other teams, Brazil's formation will be a 4-2-3-1. 4 at the back, 2 holding midfielders, 3 creators, 1 striker. He's also flirted with a 4-3-3, but the formation number is the least interesting part. What matters is how they move once they have the ball. In the build-up, Brazil start attacks in what's called a 2+2. The 2 center backs split wide, almost outward towards the touchlines, and the 2 holding midfielders sit just in front. That does 2 things. It stretches the other team's first line of pressure so there's more room to play through it, and it frees the fullbacks to bomb up the pitch. The Brazilian part. Here's where Ancelotti is feeding the country what it wants. Instead of the rigid everybody in their zone system most modern teams use, Brazil deliberately overload one side of the field. They pile bodies onto the left around Vinicius, drag the defense over there, and then either combine through the traffic or whip it to a totally empty space on the other side. They built these little diagonal staircases of passing options. The Brazilians literally call them escadinha, little ladder. So there's always the 3rd man free to bounce the ball through a press and 2 touches. It's loose, it's improvised, it's relationship based instead of position based. And then the verdict on all of it, the second a gap opens, they go vertical, immediately. No 40 pass build up for the highlight reel, win the ball and Vinicius is gone. When they get it right, it's terrifying. They put 6 past Panama on a warm-up, though, tellingly, they let in 2 at the other end, and we'll come back to that as well. Out of possession, it's much simpler and much less romantic. They drop into a compact 4-4-2, 2 flat banks of 4. Protect the middle and dare you to beat them down the outside. The flair is for when they have the ball. Without the ball, it's all about staying tight and compact. But a system is only as good as the calls the coach makes to fill it, and Ancelotti has 3 genuinely hard ones. 1, the Neymar question. This is the big one. Neymar is Brazil's all-time leading scorer, a national legend, but he is not in the first choice 11. He's 34, he spent a year and a half wrecked by a torn knee ligament, and he picked up a calf problem in mid-May, to the point that his availability for the opener is in real doubt. The team's best shape doesn't have an obvious slot for him, but Ancelotti took him anyway. Not because he provides them with an overwhelming tactical advantage, but because it's Neymar. He takes immediate stress off of the other players, and he is an easy person for the Brazilian people to get behind. So will Ancelotti bend the whole system to fit a legend who can barely train, or does he leave a Brazilian icon on the bench at a World Cup and live with the headlines? There's no painless answer, but having him there is better than not. Number 2, the Casemiro problem. In that double pivot, the shield in front of the back 4 is Casemiro. He's one of the most experienced guys in the squad under Ancelotti, and he's 34, in a tournament that's going to ask him to chase 24-year-olds in transition. If you pair him with Bruno Guimaraes, You get a gorgeous control on the ball and a real question mark the moment you lose it. Brazil's beautiful overloads leave space behind them, and Casemiro is the man asked to cover it. That's a lot to ask of a 34-year-old's legs in July. 3. The number 9. With the young phenoms hurt and left out, who leads the line? And this is the best one because Ancelotti has 3 totally different answers, and each one turns Brazil into a different team. Option 1 is Matheus Cunha, the roamer. Not a back-to-goal striker, but a forward who drops in, drifts wide, and leaks everything. He's the one Ancelotti's leaned on in warm-ups. 10 goals in a so-so first season at Manchester United. Solid, not scorching. But his real value is that he basically plays as a fourth creator, turning the front line into a positionless blur of Vini, Rafinha, and Cunha, all trading places. Option 2 is the informed curveball, Igor Thiago. If you don't follow the Premier League, here's the headline. This guy just had the best season any Brazilian has ever had in England. 22 goals for Brentford, the most a Brazilian has ever scored in a Premier League season. 2 Player of the Month awards, and he bullied his way into the squad on pure merit. He's the classic target man. Big, strong, holds the ball up, pins both center backs, and lets the winger sprint in behind him. Option 3 is the teenager, Endrick. Pure instinct. The 19-year-old lives off movement inside the box rather than link-up play. He's like a fox who scored 5 and set up 7 on loan in Lyon. My personal favorite of the 3 because he possesses that killer quality, but I'm not sure Ancelotti will lean on him to start in a tournament of this magnitude. So there's the call. Cunha to make the attack fluid and positionless, Igor Thiago to give it a spine and a target, or Endrick to gamble on a teenage instinct. Same 11 on paper, 3 completely different teams. Smart Money says Cunha and Igor Thiago both give big minutes against Morocco, but which name the team sheet lists first tells you exactly how bold Ancelotti is feeling. It's the whole team's character in one selection. The guys who steal the games. Now, the fun part. The players who can win a knockout game by themselves. First is Vinicius Jr., the designated main man for this team, although he has much left to be desired when playing for Brazil, unlike his form for Real Madrid. Arguably the best left winger in the world, blinding pace, frightening 1v1, and Ancelotti coached him for years at Real Madrid, so they already speak the same language. Every one of those overloads we just talked about is built to get him the ball in space with the defender to torture. If Brazil goes deep, it's because Vini caught fire. Rafinha on the other side. A year ago, he had the best season of his life at Barcelona, a domestic treble, 5th in the Ballon d'Or, one of the 5 best players in the world. This year, it's been a bit bumpier. Some injuries, some up and down. A healthy Rafinha puts a stamp on a game in ways that few other players worldwide can. And some wild cards could be Matheus Cunha, who can bring power and link up play. Neymar, if his body somehow still holds together, has the skill to unlock a defense in ways nobody else on the earth, not named Lionel Messi, can. And 2 19-year-olds, Endrick and a kid named Ryan, who bring fearless, nothing-to-lose energy off the bench, the kind of players who don't know they're supposed to be nervous. The group, mind the banana peel. Group C is Morocco, Scotland, and Haiti, and I have to flag something right away. In my opinion, one of the trickiest groups in the tournament. The opener is June 13th against Morocco, and Morocco is no joke. These are guys who made the semifinals of the last World Cup, the first African team to ever do it, and they will not be even slightly starstruck by the yellow shirt. It's a truly brutal first test. Scotland is gritty and organized, but limited. It's their first World Cup in 28 years, so they could either be loose or ready to attack. It's their first World Cup in 28 years, so you have to be wary of them because they could be loose and ready to attack. Haiti is the clear underdog, back at the World Cup for only the second time ever, and the first time since 1974. Brazil is the favorite to top the group, but Morocco is going to make them earn it. The crack in the foundation. Now onto some of their worries. The backline is the thing that can make them sink. Brazil's beautiful, overloaded, everybody forward style leaves real estate behind the defense, and the men asked to cover that ground are a step slower than they were a few years ago. Gabriel Magalhães is safe from this, but Marquinhos, Alexandro, and Danilo are all on the older side. They've also dealt with a bevy of injuries. Eder Militao, a center back who is in great form this year, Rodrigo and Estevao, 2 of the most dynamic young wingers in the world, Wesley, a young promising fullback, and then Neymar. Neymar is a bit of a gamble to me as well. Neymar could also present as one of the cracks in the foundation. Like I said earlier, he got hurt a few days ago and is questionable for the World Cup opener. If Neymar can't hold up through the tournament, Brazil fans will be asking questions of Ancelotti and why the roster spot was used for Neymar instead of João Pedro or Gabriel Jesus. Okay, so the verdict. What do I think? The market has Brazil around plus 850, roughly a 1 in 10 shot, 4th favorite behind Spain, France, and England. The talent says they can win it, the defense says they might not. Both are true at the same time, which is exactly what makes them fun. Me, you don't bet against 5 stars and one of the best coaches ever though. This is the least hyped Brazil in a generation. They'll be playing loose, and hopefully Carlo has finally helped them find their soul again. And if they found it, this could be the scariest team in the entire tournament, not the guys you'd want to see in the knockouts. This could be the year that the drought ends, but what do I know? I'm just a guy who doesn't know ball.